I have a great way to learn jujitsu or how to get better at jujitsu 10 times faster because I'm on a jujitsu journey myself right now. I've joined a gym a couple months ago and I'm going there and I'm getting tapped out constantly and I'm getting into all these positions where I'm like and just as context here, I didn't know a ton about jujitsu like many beginners, going into this gym. You kind of just walk in and you don't know anything about anything. And you go in and a lot of the classes they'll maybe teach you some fundamentals or they'll teach you a new, omoplata variation where you can go into that move or they'll teach you a new, armbar variation. But it's like, well, what about all these fundamentals of like how not to give your back or like how to, defend, or how to escape mount or, things like this. And it's like there's all these puzzle pieces that you're missing. And so one way that I think is really helpful to learn jujitsu is actually by doing homework in the form of reading. So and the reason I say reading specifically is because if you go on, say, YouTube outside of your classes, you're kind of just hodgepodging little techniques from, other people. Maybe if you're able to find a channel that just like in a very nice chronological series, outlines, jujitsu fundamentals, from A to B to C in a very nice way, then that's great. Maybe that's what you do. But I find that reading is great because, reading is really it's always that. It's always a nice chronological flow where you get the person's, complete nuanced, thought process of going about something. So what I did is I ended up getting this book called I don't know if the background's gonna let me show it here. Ah,
It's not.
it's not. That's so annoying. It's called Jiu-Jitsu University, and it's a very popular book in the jiu-jitsu community. You probably already heard of it if you're a jiu-jitsu practitioner. But it's what I like about this book is I got the spiral-bound version of it, so I can flatten it out. I can open it up to a specific page, and what it has is pictures, and it has pictures, and kind of goes through the belt, like, so it'll start off with very basic fundamentals for white belts. White belt is the initial belt in jiu-jitsu, and it'll kind of start off with like just surviving, and then it'll go into stuff like escapes, and then it'll go into stuff like different submissions from different positions, and everything has a nice big table of contents for the different positions. If you want to get better at, say, mount, you can go to the mount section, or you want to get better at different escapes, you can go to the escape section. And so you can kind of flip through this like a textbook, and it's big, guys. It's you know, it's 360 pages. It's got pictures. It's, very structured. It's pretty much like a jujitsu textbook. And so I've found it very helpful, and it's very, fun and exciting to read through at these initial stages because I'm just plugging in all these different puzzle pieces of jujitsu. So when I go back, I actually know, oh, I'm supposed to defend this arm here in side control, and that's why I'm like always losing, position here. Or, oh, I'm supposed to, one side control survival tech or mount survival technique is to really use your hips to create space. So one way I think that is very helpful if you're a jujitsu practitioner or you're a beginner, get some type of informational content where you're actually learning the fundamentals. Because if you just go to class and you learn by trial and error, I think you'll learn, but much slower than if you're doing a little bit of homework on the side and learning in a very structured way and plugging in all these different principles. And you're kind of going back to class, implementing some of these things that you're learning. And granted, you're not going to remember everything that you're reading, but at least you're just slowly over time absorbing more and more principles, more and more best practices and techniques from the book itself. And then you can apply those techniques in class. Because, like I said, in class, you're learning one or two techniques, one or two fundamentals, but that's about it, and then you go and roll and, you're trying some of the stuff out, but you already forgot the technique that you learned in the first half of the class. And it's like, what are you really getting out of it? Like, ideally, you want to, go each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, getting like 2% better, right? Getting a couple, more principles in your head, and you'll probably forget half of those. So at least you're getting a couple, and you're going on and you're progressing each and every day. So it's really fun, and that's what I'd recommend. And yeah, I would recommend this book, Jiu-Jitsu University. It's been great. Like I said, I kind of splurged a little bit and got the spiral bound, which is a couple bucks extra from the normal binding, just because I wanted to be able to flatten it out and kind of read it in a nice textbook fashion, as opposed to like, if you have a book open and it has a normal binding, it's gonna like want to close and you have to like bend it open. So that's been a really fun way that I think my jiu-jitsu game is going to be getting better a lot faster, because I just didn't know what I was missing. I'm in side control. I got my opponent in side control, but like I don't know what to do. And like I saw on YouTube a couple different techniques I could try, go for this armbar variation. But like I forgot it very quickly. And then at the end of the day, I don't even know like what I should really be going for as far as like what kind of fundamental principles I should be having if I'm in offensive side control. So it's pretty awesome. And with any thing you're trying to learn, I think you should really kind of have this mindset of like, how can I just overall get better at the skill from a fundamental, perspective. Elon, for an example, always said that whenever he wanted to dive into an industry or learn something, he would always just go to books and just read on it, because books are a great, chronological thought process, very evident way to learn something. So I think it also applies to, funny enough, martial arts, and kind of training in that way. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Chris, because um, it's a little, you're not currently practicing, but yeah.
No, no thoughts on it. I think that's cool.